Good morning. It's April the 12th, 2016. Time to kick off another trading day. No major economic news out overnight. Europe's CPI, PPI news was mixed. Still having trouble starting the engine or fires of inflation, especially if you look at the PPI. No major news on tap for us today. In the United States, tomorrow's retail sales news will probably be the news of the week. And today, probably the two things driving our market will be direction of the E-mini, which appears to be in a trading range with buyers below 20.35 and sellers above 50, and then the 3-year auction. Because of the 3-year auction, I'm more interested in the long side of the market at some point than I am in the short side. Now, we should find support sometime today. Import prices called plus 1%, probably based on the fact that crude oil is higher. Export prices unchanged. No one will pay any attention to that except the economist working their GDP numbers. So, direction of the E-mini initially should find buyers in the AM session, early in the session, or certainly by 11 Central. That supports treasuries. So first buy 17 to 21, then 9 to 13. On the sell side, we can get short once. Just they have to move the market back and forth. So 27 to 31, sell one. Like the long side better, and then 3 to 7 for sell number 2. Okay, having said we want to buy 17s to 21s, it may take a 24 to get in. We'll put a question mark at 24. Just have to see it plays. I think we got time to worry about getting long. I don't think we have to get long right out of the chute this morning. Okay, the NOM spread came in quite a bit last night. We went out yesterday at 35 plus 2. It's 34 plus 20, so we've lost 30 seconds overnight. Okay, I'm going to do a London split. And you can see what's happening now is that, markets get the jump on each other. So we've got London, but quite often we find a rotational high in K or L an hour before London opens, which would be Frankfurt or the opening on the continent. So the bond started selling in L. So here's our London split. Last rotate up is 21. So 20 to 24 is pretty good resistance. And then you can make a case for 16, 17. So, because of the volatility of this, we're going to put a number 1 at 16 to 20. Sell 23s, 27, sell 1. 03s to 07, sell 2. On the buy side, we've got this low over here at 7, so 7 to 10 will be 1. And I'm going to put 1 to 5. I think it's going to be hard to really break the market today. And then 25 to 29. I really like the buy side better. And it may take a 7 to 10 to get in long. We'll just have to see how the first rotates go, and if the E-mini actually does rally up this morning as it's trying to do. Okay, gold held its own overnight, or it did when I first looked at it a couple hours ago. It was holding its own. And again, you really have to like this contract. Why? Because of all the turmoil that's going on. Alcoa reports its earnings last night, and Zero Hedge is all over it on how they cook the books to meet their numbers this time. And if you're a Fortune 500 company, you've got infinite amount of ways to jigger the books to influence your stock price as best you can. And they do. Those guys aren't anybody's fool. Country cousin. Okay, 64, 66, a little bit higher than 70, 72. On the buy side, 58 to 60 buy 1. And then 55, 53, let them get stops beneath that for buy 2. I think it would take the stock market breaking out to the upside to slow gold down. Brazil is going to impeach the higher ups in their current government. Now that makes room for the next band of thieves, which tends to be the way how it runs. And somebody gets held accountable, somebody gets scapegoated. You have to bet. Wouldn't bet them having some of those Panamanian offshore corporations where they've secreted some money. Not saying that she has or they have, but I wouldn't bet against it. Their turn to loot the treasury. And if you look at we talk about third world countries and how they get up there and they just outright steal. Yeah, they're a little more direct about it. In our country, they're not allowed to steal outright. But how do these people that come from with nothing almost invariably leave Washington, D.C. as millionaires with guaranteed pensions, guaranteed health care, and the rest of it? How's that done? How does that, you and I can't do it. We got to save 40 or 50 years, and then we have to have made the right decisions. And these guys are, they just get up there and, by golly, they've got it. Denny Hastert, I think, reported worth 4 to 17 million bucks. That's quite a spread where you don't have to give anything away. You got to put something down, but you don't have to give the top. And Denny Hastert got it all from his real estate holdings. And how did he get that? He got placed on boards and got associations with different real estate development companies in the state of Illinois, and lo and behold, got interstate access to these properties to speed, make it easier for those people to get down there and travel and buy. So, but it goes on all over the place. A senator can raise money for his last election, and if he decides to retire, it's his, tax-free. Pretty nice. So our thievery isn't, as direct as Putin's or anybody else out there. Any name comes to mind as a dictator, but it's there, and it's I'm not saying power corrupts, but just part of the game. Okay, I like this profile right here. If you look at this, this is half of it, and it's got the look of a B. Lots of volume in different spots. So on a measured move, you've got 1485, let's say. Come to 30, that's 55. So that takes us down to 1385 as a trading target. And that's well within the bands, and we have an attractor right here. We got this high volume number. So if we can get a short off and if we can stick with it, we got a shot at 1385 as the market moves down. And you can see that the market really is, from a volume standpoint, pretty square at this point. 14 and a quarter down to 1385. And it looks like we're headed that way. So we're at 1433, so a 45.55, sell 1. 70 to 80, sell 2. On the buy side, we can open up it a little bit. We've got the low at 20. So maybe a 14 even, 14.10 buy. No news today, probably won't break it. 3-year Treasury, and then our 1385 to 1375. And I like the 75 to 85 buy. I think that a lot of stuff comes together, high volume numbers, measured moves, etc. that could make that actually happen. Crude's really holding in well. Doha is at the end of the week. Nobody's going to set major shorts into Doha because they might actually get an agreement. Now, nobody believes that's possible, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. So these people will be sidelined. They will not take major positions. They'll wait and see what happens. So this 41 and a quarter, 41.50, picking up this area looks pretty good, and then 42, 42.50 structurally is where we are. This breakout came from basically at 40, so we got a buyer now against 40, and perhaps a seller above 41. Don't you hate it when I use that word, perhaps? There's the London split, usually a pretty good deal. Pretty good indicator which way the market's going to go. So 41, 41 and a quarter, sell one. And then 41.50, 75, sell two. On the buy side, 40, 40 and a quarter, buy one. And 39.50, 39.75, buy two. So I wouldn't look or expect any big shorts to be set in front of the Doha meetings. There is a remote possibility that they might actually get an agreement. I think what will happen is that they will lock in March production levels as their official quota, and they'll all promise not to break it. And as we can see, the promises that were made in January were busted in February and March as these guys lifted more than they'd lifted before. And that's just, it is a band of thieves. They all operate in their own best interest. They fight like hell to preserve market share, no matter what the cost. And that ain't going to change. And when they do fight to preserve market share, that's when the bottom falls out of the market, as it is done. Okay, the E-mini. What did Obama extract? Assurances was he able to extract from Janet Yellen yesterday? And my guess is that don't you screw with anything before the elections in November, and after that you can do anything that you want. There's been some supposition that the Fed would actually negative interest rate policy could be announced as soon as April. It's not the Fed's style. They might become more dovish on the April 27th, but they did have a special meeting yesterday, and Yellen met with Obama to inform him what they talked about, and I'm sure Obama told her in no uncertain terms that, by God, the stock market could better stay up, and the fluffed numbers better keep coming. So that's so we're in a trading range right now, and likely to stay so until the news changes. The news stinks. Alcoa cooks their books once again to make their numbers. J.P. Morgan put out a report that every subcategory under the surface of sales and revenues and expenses is turning over at all companies. So don't get the revenues, hard to maintain your margins over time. And so business is not good, and business is not getting better. The bottom of the used car market prices has come out, and that's usually the first indicator that the automobile sector is in trouble, and they're comparing it to the same pricing differentials and ratios as they had in 2008. So when you look at the fundamental news, again, the economy's not that strong, but that doesn't mean this market can't trade sideways. At least sideways, and perhaps maybe higher. Okay, the E-mini loves to revisit the start of new distributions. We had a new distribution down that started at 47.50 yesterday. We've got a P on the London split, and we're getting higher lows right now. So minimally, we ought to get stops above the overnight session high. We do have a seller definitely above 55, so 50 to 55 is prime sell territory, and looks like 33 to 28 is prime buy territory, and that's where the market is right now. So stops above 43, it looks doable. Got this M high up there, so 45 to 50 is going to be sell 1, 55 to 60 sell 2. Don't think we can break it out. Don't have the news to break it out. On the buy side, 30 to 35, buy 1, and then 20 to 25, buy 2. And I think the easiest trade to see right here is if we can't take out and hold 47.50, that's the start of the new distribution. Remember, first stage of market activity, the market begins its move. Find a price that cuts off the selling. That's 2, so there's 1. Don't really know where development is right yet, but now we're searching for where resistance may lie. Then we can move into stage 3, which is development. And so I'm guessing that 45 to 50 is where we cap the market, and maybe we're going to develop prices in the 40 area. Development will be around 40. Again, import-export prices, nobody pays any attention to that, except for the economists jiggering with their models. Okay, it's going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I will get busy on that, and we'll be back with you as soon as possible.